since I must have been 9 when that movie came out.
Yeah, that's the Howie Mandel joint, right?
Yeah. So I hadn't seen it since. So I watched the first half of that last night, and it like very much aimed at her age group. So she's having a ball with that. And we're going to do some other. I think we're going to try Sleepy Hollow this weekend. Because I think she might like that. So
have you considered Sallow? Has that come up yet?
Every day of my life, Bo. Every day of my life.
Hey, and welcome to Duncan and Bo slash fiction, aka Duncan and Bo come correct. I am half of your host for this live stream debacle. My name is Bo. With me as ever is the lovely, the talented, the fresh smelling Duncan.
Considering Sallow for my 7-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So there we go.
My own Duncan, Idaho, I call him.
Duncan, I don't know. What?
What? Huh? At any rate, this is Slasher Season 3 is what we're covering. We are up to episode 3.
Feels like we've been in this world forever.
It kind of does, and I don't know what makes this one different from like other slasher seasons, but this just feels
the director of Pyewacket is doing every single episode this season.
What?
He's directed every single episode of
season 4 or season 3?
No, season 3.
I wish that I could have told you that I knew that, and I didn't. That feels like something I should know.
The only reason I clocked his name this time around on the credits, and I was like, I know that name. That's the Pyewacket dude. So jumped on the Pyewacket dude's IMDb. Entire season 3, one director.
I mean, this has all
must have paid well
of a Pyewacket.
Must have paid well though. You know what I mean? So I'm kind of thinking. I'm thinking that guy because I. Well, he is, the entire third season, he is the sole director.
I mean, I guess it's a singular vision. I guess that's something to hang our hat on, is that it's all just one dude.
Yeah, it's easy to blame, I think, is what you're trying to say. And I agree.
Yeah, easy to blame.
He did it. Burn him.
All right, I'm going to crank my audio up just a little bit, and that should be a little bit better. Anyway, so thanks to everyone joining us here in the chat. Hello, Alan. Let us dither no more, and let's get into what we do here on the show, the dark business of Duncan and Bo come correct.
Yeah, B-Snatch all the way.
Yes,
all the way.
It
100% B-Snatch.
Truly begins with us talking about movies we've been watching, one good, one bad apiece.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get this out of the way. I want to get this nonsense done.
Get out of the way.
Get it,
get it.
I say, my bad for the last, since last we talked a couple of weeks ago, is Halloween Kills. I did not care for Halloween Kills. You and I have talked about Halloween Kills.
He's still holding on to that.
It's just the worst thing I watched, is all I'm saying.
It's not a good movie. It's not a good movie.
But
it's not the worst thing I've watched, though, because I've seen at least 3 movies that are worse than Halloween Kills in the last week. So.
I know that. That's why I'm getting this out of the way. I did not care for Halloween Kills. The internet is rife with opinions about Halloween Kills. Some of them
it's fun. I've enjoyed reading it. It seems that as Blondie once sang, one way or the other. It appears to be like there is a divide. It was Blondie, wasn't it?
It was. I'm just trying to figure out what that has to do with Halloween Kills.
Well, no, the audience are split one way or the other.
Oh,
so it's like they're either 100% in, or they're 100%. This is the worst thing that has happened to cinema this year, and I'm like, it's definitely not the best thing that's happened to either the Halloween genre, or the or cinema in general, and it's certainly not the worst thing. So I'm still in camp. It's not a good movie, but it's not the worst in the series.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think one of the funnier takes, and I think this might be one Jamie J. Sammons who said this and made me laugh. She was like, I can't believe like all these people bagging on Halloween Kills and Malignant. And it's like, well, I mean, those aren't like the two pillars of horror this year. It's not like, we're not killing
Malignant. I'm
there.
like Malignant's as it stands just now. Malignant's in my top 10 for the year, and I'm fucking shocked that a James Wan movie is currently sitting in my top 10. That movie at least understands its tone and holds it all the way through it, which is a lesson that David Gordon Green should have used and employed during Halloween Kills, which is just pick a tone and just keep it. Like, see if you want to go campy, just keep it campy all the way through. See if you want to make it super serious, just make it super serious all the way through. Oh yeah, and don't just bring back people because they were in the original.
Listen, let me to dispute your point, or perhaps reinforce it. Andrew Valdez saying, it's still not Busta Rhymes in Halloween Resurrection, and that's a great point.
I will say right now, Halloween and Busta Rhymes is that movie knows its tone all the way right through it.
Yeah, it's very silly, but I'm down for it.
100%. Like that movie, like Busta Rhymes is knowingly in a bad movie, and that brings a wry smile to my face. That is a garbage film, but that is an entertaining garbage film. Whereas Halloween Kills is part an entertaining film and part a just complete clusterfuck.
Yeah, and the reason I want to get out of the way is like I don't hate Halloween Kills. I think it's deeply stupid.
Yeah,
I disliked it more the last time we talked about it, just because I had seen Halloween 2018, and after watching Halloween 2018 again, I was way more open to Halloween Kills being good. And then when it was what it is, and I saw it was kind of a smack in the face. I was like, "Oh, come on, man! I was trying to give you a fair shake. Come on, David Gordon Green. I was trying to be a guy. I was trying to be a guy and let you give it a shot."
I just love that he took the original take of setting the second movie on the same night as his first movie, with Michael Myers just killing people on Halloween. I mean, it was a very original take.
And and a large portion of it set in a hospital, not unlike, say, Halloween 2.
Yeah, with Jamie Lee Curtis bedbound. Not unlike Halloween 2.
Halloween 2, by the way, superior to Halloween Kills.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, like if anyone's arguing against that, they're a fucking moron. Like there's no real way that anyone can say that Halloween Kills is a better movie than Halloween 2. Like that movie is just mean. And I kind of love it for that. It's just a mean fucking movie. And yes, it makes some decisions that some people don't like it makes Michael Myers, Laurie Strode's brother, which, I mean, once again, if that's the thing you're hung up on, really, is that the worst thing in the movie? Like, you know what I mean? All that stuff. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's a movie which weirdly tries to write out the history of an entire franchise by making reference to all the installments in the entire franchise it brought out, like the Mob Justice from Part 4, the Silver Shamrock Mask from Part 3, which are also in that movie for no reason at all. Like the camera pans past these kids wearing the masks, and everyone's like, "Oh yeah, like Halloween. There's Halloween 3," and I'm like, "Yeah, the movie that doesn't exist in his universe, just going to steal the mask from that and put it in there." I don't like using the word hack, but I like it's a hack job, dude. It's a hack job of a movie.
You had the best comment about it, which was it's just a memberberry movie, and that's totally 100%.
Yeah, it's member. That's literally the entire movie.
Yeah. So that out of the way, I'm just going to be. Yeah. That will be the last time I probably talk publicly about Halloween Kills.
Until the next time.
Nah, I've pretty much talked about it on every platform that I have.
Well, I've got a proposition for you. My plan is beginning of next year, I always do my top 20 movies. I always do like a spin-off where I do my top 5 worst movies of the year, and I want you to come on and do that with me.
Okay.
So we can both do our top 5 worst movies.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep, and there is a chance maybe Halloween Kills may come up in that as well. So
yeah,
you never know.
That's
You
not
never know.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
it depends. We'll talk about it later, but yeah, I'm down for that.
Nice.
So what was your bad? Because I know you've been watching. Unlike myself, the reason Halloween Kills was the shittiest thing that I watched. It's because I'm doing my 31 of Halloween, and unlike yourself, where you do a lot of new movies, I'm just cherry picking all the stuff that I want to watch.
You're having fun with it, which I love. You're doing the thing I wish I could do, but because I do because I do so many movies in summer series, I miss the majority of the year. And Halloween, October is my catch up where I know for a fact I will guarantee 31 movies that have come out in the year that I'm recording it. So that to me is it's a big kind of benefit for me. Where to go with this? I mean, easily the worst movie that I've seen was the one that I watched last night, which is Neil Blomkamp's Demonic, which is Jesus Christ, barely a fucking movie. I mean,
I hear nothing but the worst about that movie, and I haven't seen it, and mostly because A, I haven't had that much time, and B, everyone I have heard discuss the movie Demonic has said that it is total garbage.
It's absolute fucking garbage. No one has lied to you, Bo Ransdell. In fact, if anything, they've validated a very accurate point. This is a movie that, I mean, it almost blows my mind that this is from Neil Blomkamp. And I would stress, I'm not the biggest Blomkamp fan. I obviously, I think everyone really enjoys District 9. I think is a rather smart kind of sci-fi movie, essentially, kind of body horror sci-fi movie. Elysium, I was okay with. I thought its message was a bit too on the nose. But I did like the Jodie Foster in that. She was kind of cool. Playing a villainous role, which you don't often see from her. Mm-hmm. Chappie, I didn't hate it. It felt like a giant Diantvort music video.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah. All right, I'm with you. For a second, I thought you said Deanne for a second, and I was like, who is Deanne?
Yeah, who's Deanne and why is Duncan speaking about her this week?
Why are you bad-mouthing Deanne? She was my babysitter, Duncan.
She knows what she did. She never paid for that pizza bowl. But it's a repressed memory coming back. Jesus.
Starting to twitch.
I didn't hate it. I just found that it was a bit of a senseless movie. Which, once again, I'm not against senseless movies. Watch tons, but so I don't know what I already knew coming into this it was going to be a bad movie because everyone had said it was going to be a bad movie. But I was that way, but I'm still it's still a guy who has made movies that have made multi-millions doing a horror movie. I mean, he's slumming it a little bit. It's an exorcism possession horror movie, and we know what the rule is of that is unless that movie is The Exorcist, then don't make one. And yeah, I think he actually has retrospectively made movies that I think are utter trash better now by the quality of his movie. He's set the bar so fucking low now that movies are now moderately good.
He's like, I will make you like Elysium.
I don't know. It's a movie that doesn't do character development, that barely does plot, that has kind of CGI effects which are fucking awful. It's a kind of virtual reality world your main character gets absorbed into, which feels it's 2 steps away. It's slightly better rendered Lawnmower Man. And I shit you not, did watch it. It's fucking awful, absolutely awful.
You're kind of selling me on it because how I feel about this.
But the thing is, there's no enjoyment from it. There's no enjoyment in seeing this movie fail.
Oh, it's not sloppy bad. It's just bad.
No, he has pushed this. This is the guy that does digital effects and all the rest in all his movies, and he has pushed this out because I think on some level he thinks it's good. I mean, like all of a sudden that Mantis and the Argento's Dracula is starting to look pretty good right now. So I'm saying, like,
let's not say things we can't take back, Duncan.
watch it. Like, you don't believe me? There'll be a super cut somewhere online of it. But basically, it's the premise involves this girl who we know nothing really about. We don't get any real information about. Finds out that her mother, who she's estranged from, who was a serial arsonist, is in a coma at some medical facility, and she's asked to help out by what you think are doctors to undergo a procedure where she will go into a virtual reality of her coma so she can make contact with her mother. But in doing this, she finds that her mother is possessed by what can only be described as like a demon parrot. Like it's like a bird. It's like a demon bird. That is
macaw.
like, yeah, macaw. Like, so it's like literally it's something like a drawing of it looks fucking ridiculous. And like, but what she doesn't realize is the doctors that have employed her to basically go into this virtual reality thing work for the Vatican as secret exorcist fucks.
Oh,
but none of them.
All of this, Duncan.
Right?
This
yeah.
Sounds
but once
stupid.
again, right? None of this is. But there's nothing. And like, even the conceit of this movie is that the only way to stop the possession or whatever is to use the spear of Rantata, or whatever it's fucking called,
the
which they found
out grenade of Antioch.
Yeah, like she just fucking made it up. So like this spear thing, that if they basically stab the person that's possessed, it'll exorcise the demon or some shit like that. But instead, they go into virtual reality to do it instead of just stabbing the mum in the real world, which would just do the same thing. It's just they think about nothing. Like, there's like no character development. It's shot real shitty. Like nothing in the movie makes sense, and you thinking this is going to be shitty, it's going to be amazing, I'm going to have so much entertainment value through the roof. You get to the end of it, you go, no, this is just shitty. And that's the problem. There's no, like, you couldn't even do this is like, not even a this is so bad it's good. You can't even do this is bad trash. That's it. Like, I've just watched that Willy's Wonderland with fucking Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Tonight, which is a trashy, bad fucking movie. But there's a bit of, there's a bit of camp, there's a bit of entertainment value in there. And as a result, it's a bad movie, but the experience wasn't terrible. This is just a bad movie where the experience is terrible. It's up between him. I posted it last night. There are two Neils this year that have released movies. Two Neils that used to be bankable names. One being Neil Marshall and the other one being Neil Blomkamp. And between the two of them right now, they are fighting for worst horror movie I've seen this year.
What was the Neil Marshall joint again? What was that called?
The Reckoning.
The Reckoning. That's right. You told me about that
fucking,
one too.
Oh, dude, just a awful fucking movie. Just like an exercise in how to just make a fucking awful movie. So,
all right. Well, let's move on to the good stuff and exorcise.
I have exorcised the demons. This house is safe, bro.
By the way, Andrew Valdez posing the question, maybe Neil Blomkamp does feature movies for hire to produce his short films for his own studio stuff.
Well, from what I gather, he made the movie during COVID because he wanted to make a movie, and having done a bit of research online, there's a super cuts on YouTube of like interviews that he's done where he basically openly says he doesn't like horror movies or possession movies. So why the fuck did he make one? It would also make sense because it has every cliche you've ever seen. I mean, I kind of posted online about this, saying that his making of Demonic once again solidifies my opinion that Ridley Scott's Alien Covenant, basically burning out any opportunity of Alien 5 happening with Blomkamp at the handle, was the right thing to happen. Because everyone online has been like, I can't believe we didn't get Alien 5 from Blomkamp. Oh, like boohoo. And I was like that. Well, I mean, is he like, he did right District 9? Are we still trading off that movie 2 movies on? He's done nothing that remotely makes me think he's qualified for it. And everyone was kind of boohooing about it. Mm-hmm. All they have to do is watch Demonic and say, do you now want to see that movie? Do you physically now want to see his Alien 5? Because I tell you right now, the answer to that is a hard fucking no. Shit movie.
All right. Okay.
Oh.
So let's talk good stuff.
Yeah.
And let me part of the 31 Days of Halloween I did, but it was a movie I just hadn't seen in a long time. And I also have a little bit of an axe to grind.
Oh, I love it when Bo grinds his axe.
Oh, I do enjoy a nice axe grinding on occasion. Sometimes you got to pay a little extra for that. And
yeah,
I'm not above it.
Patreon.
So I watched the Hitcher from '86.
Oh,
I hadn't seen that in a very long time. And the Hitcher, man, what a fucking great movie that is.
Dude, as I told you before, it's in my top 10 horror movies ever fucking made. And there's a reason behind that. It's incredible.
Yeah, it had just been a long time. But okay, so here's my axe to grind, and then I'll circle back to how good that movie is. But the axe I have to grind is that there is not a good release of that movie available.
It's coming this year. No, it's coming next year, sorry. Early next year, 4K.
Who's putting it out?
Studio Canal.
Okay, fantastic. Because here's what I was able to watch. The Blu-ray, there's like a German Blu-ray that you can import for like $80. And
Das Hitcher.
Yeah, Das Hitcher. Das not gonna how is good, they say. So you can buy Das Hitcher, or you can rent it from, not even rent it, you got to stream it from Max Go, the Cinemax streaming service.
Right.
And the transfer they have is like the old HBO pan and scan of it.
Yeah.
And it's like, what are we doing with this movie? This thing is beautiful.
Yep.
You know, you can tell because it's these great southwestern landscapes, and Rutger Hauer looking just gorgeous because he's young Rutger Hauer and all of that. And I'm like, this looks like trash. It can't undo how good the movie is, fortunately. But I can't wait to see this thing with a decent widescreen presentation with a good transfer behind it. But
I've literally the 2 movies I think I've like openly campaigned for the longest time for like a good, like at a minimum 2K transfer are surprisingly linked, and I didn't know how they were linked until I did an episode where I covered both these movies like years ago. And it was, you mentioned our good friend Jamie G. Salmons. It was her husband Brian who actually was like, oh, they're written by the same
Eric
author.
Red.
Yeah, Eric Red wrote that and Near Dark.
For sure, yes, he did.
Well, Near Dark also has no fucking great transfer for that movie, and both those movies are getting released next year in 4K. So
I mean, that's
and both of them, like when you think about it, it totally makes sense because of the places that are shot, landscape, cinematography, all the rest. But both those movies, like specifically The Hitcher, because like I said before, like Near Dark might be my favorite vampire movie. The Hitcher is definitely up there amongst my just strap yourself in for terror for the next 90 minutes. Like Rutger Hauer is absolutely terrifying in that movie. And he your introduction, see him in the car just talking about and then I cut off his arms and I cut off his leg, and you're just like, this is fucking terrifying, absolutely terrifying. And he is sitting in a car talking to someone, and it will make you shit your pants. So
I want you to say 4 words. I want to die.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
terrifying.
He's so good in that movie.
Yeah.
And like that scene when they're in the cab of the semi, the whole Jennifer Jason Leigh being torn apart scene. But when he says to C. Thomas Howell, when he's like, "Why do you think you're here?" And C. Thomas Howell doesn't give him an answer. And he doesn't. It's like, I'm not angry, I'm disappointed. It's that look of just like, I need you to understand what our relationship is. And the reason I'm doing this to you is just random chance, but also because you fought back. You're a challenge.
Yeah.
You know, and so we have this unspoken rivalry.
Yeah, this is what makes him alive.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's literally what makes him alive. He's like done this God knows how many times before, and he's just not. It's just been too easy. It's become humdrum. It's it's nothing that excites him at all. And he's like you say, he's finally got the challenge. And all the movies do it now. Like every home invasion movie does like he's similar. It's the strangers. Why are you doing this? Because you were here, or you were home, or you were in, or you whatever it is. They all fucking do it now. But the Hitcher was their first Bo. It did it better. It's the greatest.
I was blown away. Like it had probably been 20 years since I'd seen it.
Oh man, I envy you. I watch it every other year. I'm the same as you. I've got a shitty rip that's on a hard drive. And it's like I can't, like, because for years we've been like, maybe the Scream Factory will pick it up. I've been pushing, like, my kind of contact to Arrow. I've been bugging him every year. And every time Arrow posts what title should we release, I guarantee within the first 3 comments, the Hitcher comes up every time they do it. But turns out rights issue, and that rights issue is because Studio Canal wants to put it out, and I will buy that as soon as it fucking lands. Cannot wait.
Absolutely. Again, just one of those, like, I remember it being good and I forgot that it's actually great.
Yeah. It's so good, man.
It's just a brilliant film. Okay, Duncan, what about you? Give me something good.
I'll hit you with a very quick one and then go into my main one. It's a movie that I've recommended to you, which is My Heart Can't Beat Unless You Tell It To.
Yeah. Okay.
Thoroughly enjoyed that one. That's a small indie movie that is kind of like a kind of cross between The Battery and maybe Let the Right One In.
All right, both of those things.
So the kind of setup for this is that it's family. It's a brother, sister, and another brother, a younger brother. And the brother and sister are essentially committing murders. They're committing murders. They're committing murders essentially to bring blood back to their younger brother, who is a vampire. So they're sustaining them, but the wear and tear of just doing that is destroying the family dynamic, and that's as much as I'll give you on it. I thought it was fucking great. It's very much of this has not a lot of budget, but it's all invested right into really great character development, and any effects that are in it are used wisely. So it was a jaw-droppingly good movie. The main one, though, the one that fucking flattened me, is Come True, which I think is so good. It finished, and I was just like, oh my God Almighty. It's more a kind of sci-fi sort of movie with horror tendencies, in the vein of a kind of It Follows, as a kind of It Follows vibe to it, but and the way I described it was, it's like It Follows and Possessor, minus all the gore of Possessor and all the real terror of It Follows, but it still has it has like the weird technology vibe and the kind of pseudoscience of Possessor, and the idea of something coming for you which won't stop of It Follows. So basically, it's about a young girl, a homeless girl, chose a self-inflicted homeless girl. She won't go home, essentially, who suffers from insomnia. She takes part in a sleep study, at this weird clinic, and she goes under, and there's something about her readings that fascinate the scientists. But what she realizes is she's bought essentially, you know how you get sleep paralysis, like those kind of weird like shadow things. She's maybe brought them through into the real world with her, and they then start essentially stalking her. But there's a greater mystery in the background. It's fucking awesome. I mean, it's shot like me and you would have an amazing conversation about this, because there are like, once you get to the end and you realize actually what's going on, there are clear nods throughout the movie as to what it's doing, and it wasn't until it finished I was like, that just is just explained so much of what I've just seen. Electric Youth do the score for it, so it's got an absolutely incredible kind of synthy score, like just like amazing. And it's, I don't know, there's just something really, really, really compelling about it. It's a movie that's easily shot into my top 5 for the year, like out of nowhere. And the thing is, people have been telling me about it since like April. They're like, Duncan, you're going to love this movie. You're going to love this movie. And I knew I was going to watch it as part of my 31. But I also, I fight against people saying, well, this is a movie Duncan will love. And I'm like, you don't know me. Like,
you don't know my life.
You don't know what I like. Maybe I don't like the thing that you think I like. And I got to the end and I was like, that, yeah, I totally love this. So yeah, it's right, you know me too well. Bitches. Yeah, I hate being predictable. It's incredible. So come true. If you've not seen it, I think IFC put it out in the States. And it might be on one of your streaming channels, because I know a lot of people have watched it. So if it's not on a Prime, it might be on a Netflix. So I'd be interested to chat about it, because I genuinely think it's something special. It's something I've not seen done before. It's almost like a Cronenberg film with a heart, which is weird. Like it's got that one. So, and I've still got things to see. Like I've got this weekend. I go and see Last Night in Soho and Antlers at the cinema. Which, I mean, Last Night in Soho is the new Edgar Wright movie. It has a chance, because I do love him, and he's doing kind of quasi giallo. And Antlers is a movie that I've wanted to see since it was announced, 2.5 years ago. I think that was when the trailer dropped.
Yeah, I still, man, the good and the bad of doing the 31 days of Halloween stuff is that I've watched a lot of movies that I dearly love, and some new stuff that I'd never seen. Zalowski's Possession before this month.
And why are we not talking about
well, that's a different story. But yeah, I mean,
you did. Please tell me you didn't watch it with your other half.
No.
That is not a date movie.
No. We that was something I took upon myself. But I mean, I loved it, and I'm still trying to figure out, like, well, is this what I think it means, and that kind of thing. I thought it was great. But because I'm watching that stuff, I just haven't seen anything at all new.
Yeah.
So I'm about 2 viewings away from being liberated somewhat. And so
plus you do a lot of that towards the end of the year anyway. Your November and December is usually you polishing out the last of what people are talking about in favor of creating your list. So I mean that's about par for the course then. So
yeah. In a different world, Duncan, where I had a little bit more planning, I would spread this out some, but that's not the world we live in.
No, I force you to watch a lot of stuff through the summer. So
yeah. And I mean, I have a good time with all that stuff. And I also kind of like at the end of the year where it's like, okay, here's 2 months where I'm just watching kind of the best of the best. The stuff that people are like, oh, this is going to be on my top 10 list. I'm like, well, let me look, and I'll tell you.
I'll be the judge of your list.
Right. Yeah, I'm like the ref that shows up in the last half, where I'm like, all right, let's see, enough bullshit. I'll tell you what's real. Speaking of what's real, Duncan, let's talk about slasher, because that's what we've chosen.
This opens with a character I forgot was fucking in this.
Yeah. And I would say there are maybe not as many flashbacks in this episode, but there's a substantial amount. but
there's quite a few, but once again, this has taken the level of taste and dropped it down a few rungs. There's a couple of scenes specifically in this episode that really made me uncomfortable to watch. Just really, really, really just not pleasant. Not because it's gory or anything like that, just the dialogue, the way that certain demographics are portrayed in this TV show is fucking reprehensible. And it didn't get any better in this. It's doubling down every episode. Like every episode's like that. You didn't like that? Well, you won't like this.
Yeah, it has all the nuance of, say, Twitter.
Yes. Oh God. Yeah. Yeah. If Twitter was a TV show, it'd be Slasher season 3.
Yeah, I think that. Yes, 100%. I think that is accurate. All right.
Oh my God.
So this is, of course, 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Because we're doing 3-hour chunks of the day, and somehow people still are teleporting all over the place. But we open on Sadia's friend Jen.
Yeah.
This is a year before. We start on a flashback to let you know.
We start on a flashback.
Yeah.
They're like, we're not even giving you a second here. Flashback.
Yeah. And it's her mom is having a screaming argument with Renee. And it turns out it's like, they have two moms kind of situation.
Yeah.
And so Jen is texting her brother and is like, oh, this sounds like a real barn burner, huh?
Who I thought was I forgot was a character in this.
Yeah.
So this is Connor.
Yeah. Who may, it turns out, be the killer.
I think I'll put my cards down on the table. I think after watching this episode, I think Connor and Jen might be the killers.
Oh,
I'm still going with 2. The thing that doesn't make sense to me is why they would have killed Kit in the first episode. Like, that makes zero sense to me because of the catalyst that we get in this one, which causes the accident. Not the accident, the self-immolation that we're about to discuss. That doesn't make sense to me. But I think that's the 2 of them that are in on it. Because I think there's an obvious red herring scene in this episode involving Jen, which makes no sense, to try and confuse the audience, which makes me think. And I'm still going down with 2 killers. So we were right at the school. If this pans out, by the way. If it doesn't, then once again, we'll be wrong. Like, Bo's already stuck his neck on the line, and we'll find out what happens when you do this in this season.
Yeah. Alan and Chad already saying, I can't wait to hear our reaction to the last shot of this series.
Alan might not know this, but I've seen the final shot of Spiral from the Book of Saw, and it will take something pretty special to make that not the most jaw-dropping thing I've seen this year. So,
all right, so Jen and Connor are texting back and forth and being like, "Oh, these 2 are really fucking arguing tonight," and Renee we don't know why yet, but Renee is like, you have ruined our lives. Yeah,
refers to her as a Reaper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is she like in a biker gang or like?
Oh, if only.
Yeah, well, that's where my brain was going. The answer to this is so much more dumb because mobile phones and the internet, Bo. I don't know if you know about this, but people are using them and bad things happen on them.
I haven't heard anything like that, but I'll take your word for it, I guess. So their mom leaves, and then Jen looks outside, and her mom just has a can of gasoline, and is just like, "Oh, is this what you want to see?"
She did. What's the name? What's that movie? What's the scene? It's Hook. It's Hook. No, it's Hook. It's Hook. Okay. It's Hook, where like Dustin Hoffman's like, "Don't stop me, Smee. Don't stop me." And he's loading the gun. He's like, "Don't stop me. Stop me. Stop me. Don't stop me, Smee. I'm going to do this. Stop me, Smee. Stop me." And like, what's his face? Bob Hoskins is like, and he's like, "Stop me. Take this gun out of my hands, Smee, before I kill myself." Well, you like keeps building it up. That's exactly what this is like. She is like. She's pouring the gas, which once again then makes the first episode, that scene that made zero fucking sense, where Rennie was out in the courtyard pouring water over herself.
Right.
I mean, zero sense, but now it makes sense, Bo. So she's outside covering herself in flammable fluids.
In petrol. And
how dare you?
And so Jen and Connor are running downstairs to try to stop her. While,
like everyone should be in this apartment complex.
Well, Duncan, I don't know if you've heard about the internet, but what people are doing is they're just looking out their windows and like taking pictures on their cell phones of this.
There's one specifically pernicious person doing this, Bo.
Oh, do you mean Dawn?
Yeah, Dawn.
So yeah,
Dawn of the Dead, Bo. So
she is the mom is like, you watched a boy get killed and you did nothing. And we see everyone watching, and then she pulls out her Zippo and flicks her bic.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, up she goes in flame.
Great. By the way, the shot of this, of her POV sparking the thing and then her hand lighting up on fire, is fucking excellent.
You know, spoilers, I suppose, for Pyewacket, but apparently this is a director who knows how to shoot people going up in flames.
This now makes a lot of sense, Bo. I hadn't even put that together, but yeah, this Adam McDonald's his name. Thank you, my brain.
That's why you have me here, Duncan, to point out things like, hey, guess what, Duncan? Those two things both happened in these shows.
They both happened. Like, so depending on which one he did first, he either stole the idea from Slasher, which I hate to think of Pyewacket having a scene in it ripped off from Slasher season 3, or vice versa. Like, our Martin was like, we have to have at least one immolation scene because Pyewacket.
So Adam McDonald was like, guys, you know what I know how to do? I got an idea of how to fix this.
Yeah. But like, the thing about, like, you set this up, she said, like, she's screaming at everyone saying, you watched a man die, you did nothing, and all the rest. So I'm thinking, right, one, what is a Reaper, right? And because I'm still thinking bike gang. And I'm like, she's in a bike gang, there's a neo-Nazi in that building, some guy was selling cars to the Chinese. What fucking block of apartments is this? I mean, it feels like a SWAT team a la the Raid should be working their way all throughout this building up to the top to take out the criminal kingpin. It is literally, man, I'm telling you, dude.
Jen becomes Hammer Girl. Now I'm on board.
But they had so she's saying that, and you get the indication she is so ashamed of what this building did in terms of their inaction with Kit. Which, once again, what Slasher does, some people would say great. I would say because it has no ability to sustain any one thread for any length of time. It undoes this very, very quickly when we realize why she's called the Reaper and maybe why she's trying to make this statement, ? Because it doesn't add up to me at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's like, you guys did nothing, right? Yet the catalyst for her being called the Reaper is something that she did, and I'm going to kind of side with the internet in this one, kind of reprehensible. Like, she's not a nice, not a nice character. So I don't know what we're doing, Bo.
So the next scene, Duncan, after we get our fancy Slasher credits.
That's literally all it does. It's like a shite transformer. Literally what it is. Like, that's like Michael Bay's ran out of money and used the guy that did the effects for Demonic. So he come in to do the Slasher cred.
Slasher, the shite transformer.
Yeah.
So yeah, our detective is talking to Bill Moseley. And she's like, so what happened? And he's like, I'll tell you what happened. I came in here for a cup of coffee.
Which I was going to pay for.
Yeah. Look, I have paid for everything my entire life. I've never not paid for anything.
She's like, that's a weird statement to say up front here. No one was accused, kind of thinking that maybe you weren't going to pay for it. So I'll just write that down here.
I came in to pay for some food and not kill anybody. Like I do. And yeah. And it turns out, of course, as we saw in the last episode, he drank some blood and spit it out.
Yeah.
And our new detective on the scene says, "Oh well, like the back room has all been cleaned up, all spick and span like, and we just can't find Noah the hipster anywhere."
How much time does it take to not only remove a body from a crime scene, exsanguinate all the blood from it to fill into a coffee percolating system, but then like go around everything, leaving no trace, even from luminol?
That's 52 minutes.
50 fit, man. I'm glad we've fit it comfortably into our 3 hour time windows for episodes, but so that makes sense.
I'm just saying that's been my experience, but I have it down to a bit of a science.
That's good to know. That's good to I'll know who I'm calling first. Winston Wolf Bo.
Yeah.
Is your name?
I show up early in the morning in a full tuxedo. All I want is a cup of coffee. And yeah, and so again, it's just to establish that Noah is missing and there's blood everywhere. And then we cut back to the school where we get a little behind the scenes of the teacher lounge, where it's Vera Notmiga, our horny teacher, and
a la Bo's prime suspect,
or my prime suspect until the very end of this show. And then they're like, so the horny teacher is flipping through her phone for the next dick she's gonna ride, and Vera Notmiga, who has been a real sourpuss, that rolls in. And
tatted to the max. She looks like she might be in the biker gang, the Reaper's Bowl.
Dude, what she looks like is a straight up porn star.
A hip flask. She's got a hip flask. She's talking about these little bastards in the class.
The fact that she doesn't have like a little vial with a Coke spoon necklace, that is shocking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this porn star shows up, and Richard showed up and was like, "Hey, I'm a little late. What episode of Cobra Kai are you guys talking about?" Yeah, I wish. But yeah, so the porn star shows up and it's just like, "Guys, does anybody want some of my beverage?" Which is probably absinthe. Let's be real.
I'm like, let's go one step further. This is fucking moonshine, Bo.
This is bathtub porn star gin.
Bathtub porn star gin. Like, and they did not clean that bathtub when they fucking distilled that motherfucker. Like, it is like she opens that hip flask and the paint and the wallpaper starts coming off the walls.
Her already fake eyelashes start to curl up at the end. And then she takes off, and Vera Notmiga is talking about how there was this fight with Cassidy and Shadia, and she's like, "It's not that big a deal, kids fight." And then
she's like, "It's about terrorism, though." And she's like, "Yeah, potato."
Terrorism, schmerism. Let's look at those dick pics. And she says, "This is an actual line from the show."
This is a line from this show, by the way, because you can tell this has been written by a man.
Yeah, swipe right if it curves right. And then they just kind of giggle about fucking for a second. Just we're professionals talking about fucking in the workplace.
I think she literally says we should just skip out of school, get a taxi together, and both get fucked by this stranger. That's kind of basically what she's implying. And she's like, "Oh, you behave. You're such a naughty teacher." I'm like, what is this? Is this a porn set?
It's crazy.
Could this be Naughty Toronto Teachers Volume 5?
Naughty Toronto Teachers 3 was the one I was in. So it could be 5. I didn't make it that far in the series.
They're here to teach you a lesson, Bo. Listening.
You're good at this.
Well, in a past life, this is what I did.
Okay. So. Just name porn films.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't pay a lot, but there was plenty of scenarios set up for me to work with.
All right.
All you had to be, it was mildly good at alliteration, and you could make bank, Bo.
Naughty Toronto Teachers Volume 5. I like that a lot. That's our next T-shirt.
Yes. Make that happen.
I can make that happen. So, meanwhile, Jen and Sadia are hanging out, and Jen has downloaded an app that doesn't exist where you can track a phone that's not yours.
Allows you to track an iPhone, right? You know, the only app that will allow you to do that is an Apple app, and you have to have logged into the phone in order for you to track it. Yes. So she's like, the internet says that, once again, the internet says that, like, this is the best one on there. And basically all it does is tell them it's in the school, which they, by the way, already suspected before she got the app.
Yeah, it's the worst app in the world. And it not only does it not exist, it also is not very useful.
No. So, if you're gonna create a fake app, at least make it work. Yeah.
I mean, it's the world of imagination. If you're going to Doug Henning an app to begin with, at least make it critical to the plot. So they decide that they're going to split up because they can do more damage that way.
Mm-hmm.
And Jen's like, I'm going to go check the basement. And Sadia goes to check the first floor where the bathroom is. But we leave her because we're following Jen mostly this episode, who gets a text from her brother, who sends her a text that's like, it's happening again. And then she flashes back to a video posted online where Dawn has reposted a video that she took of their mother setting herself on fire.
Yeah.
And very rightly, an online user known as Crepe Ape, which, by the way, pretty good handle.
That's what I use.
Yeah.
So it was me. I'll be honest.
I could go listen. I go ape for crepes myself, Duncan. The crepes are delicious, but Crepe Ape is like, hey, you're a terrible person. Stop uploading videos of people setting themselves on fire. And she's like, look, I just wonder if there's a connection.
Yeah, she's like, the horrible events that have happened in her apartment have reminded me of the horrible murders that have happened in this apartment, have reminded me of a woman committing suicide. Not related, because one is a murder and the other one is suicide. Clearly suicide. And she's like, I wonder if these two things are related. No, we know who the killer was in the self-immolation. The key is in the word self. The other one, was a murder. We know it was a murder because it was committed by someone else. Fucking stupid woman. Honestly. Yeah. And then our husband, which we're going to use it,
who we last saw in the last episode getting railed by his neighbor Angel.
Yeah, getting down and dirty with Angel. Yeah. He comes in and he attempts to be the moral high ground here, which I don't know if he and he's like, maybe we just stop this video and you take it down. And she's like, oh, maybe we'll do that then. Or maybe, in fact, there's a line here that doesn't make sense. She's like, he pretends to he's going to break the computer. And she's like, go ahead, I'll just have another one here this afternoon. One, you won't. And two, I thought she needed money from him.
Yeah, but
she would need it to buy that evidence.
Right, she needed $200 to go meet with some dude who was
going. Yeah, she needed $200, but she can just afford a new iMac. Right, whatever, Dawn.
It was just gonna be a Chromebook. It was just gonna be a real piece of crap.
Yeah, but she's like, oh, we'll take that video down. How about we replace that video then? Maybe we'll just replace it with that video of you and Angel. And she's like, you know what? I've been thinking about this. See that stuff, that guy on guy action. And this is once again another thing that just made me super uncomfortable. Not the guy on guy action, but the way that she talks about it. She's like, that stuff gets, that always ramps up the viewers and the watchers. I remember when I used to write fan fiction. That's what she says. I used to write fan fiction, and whenever I put two guys in it, fucking Bo. That's when I'd get more hits and all the rest. So I'm glad that she's upgraded from fan fiction to whatever the fuck it is that she's doing now online. But she's like, yeah, maybe we'll just replace it. In fact, I've got a better idea. Maybe you guys should do it again, and then we should have a poll where you describe what's better, Angel's loose asshole or my wet pussy.
Yeah,
And I was like,
that's a line from the show. That is not.
That's a line from
the.
that is a line from the show that one character says to another in a show that was made, what, 2018, 2019? 2019?
Watching this show makes me a bad person.
Like everyone, no one gets out of this untarnished.
Yeah.
Including the viewer. Especially the viewer. Like had we not watched it on Netflix in droves, there would be no season 4.
And Joe very rightly asks, "What's wrong with you?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, Joe, you're right. I mean, you're not a good person, but I'm on your side on this one. What is wrong with Dawn? And one quick aside, Alan throwing out his own porn titles. Degrading After Dark, which is just Degrassi, he says. So then we cut back to Sadia for a completely pointless scene where she goes into the bathroom looking for her phone, finds nothing, and we get a shot to remind us that Cassidy or Emma not Roberts, Emma Notbirds, I think is what we call her, Wrongbirds, Emma Wrongbirds, that she's up in the vents, but we've known that since the beginning of the second episode.
Yeah, we saw exactly where she was at the beginning of the second episode, and she hasn't moved.
Yeah.
So it's good that we're coming back here every episode to make sure that her dead body hasn't decided to move.
Keeping tabs on her corpse.
It's such a pointless scene out with to give you another shock of that effect. You know what I mean? It doesn't. There's nothing served from that at all. And also, once again, leading to my two killers theory, there appears to be two different. One killer seems to be moving bodies. The other killer seems to be leaving them on display.
Oh, so you think that? Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm with you.
Yeah, I think there appears to be. I still think it's the two. I still think it's the brother and sister combo at the moment. Anyway, next week it may be something different. But
once Connor is killed.
Yeah, once Jen dies horribly, but maybe she wasn't the killer. But there's one. There appears to be a killer killing people and hiding the bodies, and another killer who's blatantly displaying them, i.e., fucking Mark Stromboli, who had his head chopped off and mounted on a car, and the teacher at the end of this episode against Noah and Emma Notberts, who are both those bodies have been hidden from sight. So kind of feels like there's two. But once again, why did they kill Kit? It's going to annoy me. It makes zero sense unless we get a flashback to show, she saw him, Jen saw him get a blowjob in the hallway. I'm just going to say that's not a fucking stabbable offense.
Or it could be that Angel killed Kid.
Ooh.
But he has nothing to do with the new murders, and the new murders are Jen and Connor because of the death of their mother.
Oh, right. So, copycat then.
Yeah.
Under the guise of, I like that.
So, we'll get to how we're wrong about all this later. But so then we cut back to our super horny teacher who is starting an exam when Sadia comes in.
Yeah.
And
this bully kid should be. This is the worst school, and I had bullies at my school, but this school makes the bullies at my school who were horrible seem like fucking angels.
Yeah. Well, so this kid is has an open flame and
two Bunsen burners, which he has side by side.
And he's like, "Hey, Jen, what's this remind you of? Reap what you sow. Reap what you sow." Which is what her mother was yelling when she was on fire. And Jen, very rightly, is just storms out of the classroom.
The fuck is wrong with this kid?
Dude, what's wrong with the kid? What's wrong with this fucking teacher? Because she chases after Jen and sends the kid to the office, I'll deal with you in a minute once I talk to Jen and rub one out. And then
we're not specifying what order that is either.
Right. I might make you watch because I'm a little twisted. I'm a bit of a voyeur. But the teacher is talking to Jen, and Jen's like, "That was so fucked. I need to get out of here for a minute." And she's like, "Jen, you can't do that because you need to finish your exam. And you've got to take all of this abuse that's being heaped on you and you turn it into a moment that makes you tougher or hornier. One of the two, maybe both. I can't decide that for you.
You're like, nothing will make you focus more on the dissection of this innocent animal that you're about to study than channeling the hatred of your fellow students and the trauma of your dead mother. Yeah. Remember when she burned alive? It's just so fucking what?
Yeah, right.
Well, this kid gets a free pass.
You know what I mean? You to suck up a hate crime if you don't mind, and go do your multiple choice shit.
Same with the Sadia chick. She doesn't have to sit that test. In any other school in the world, she doesn't have to sit that test until either a couple of days later, or she just doesn't have to. She gets exempt from it for trauma. I don't understand what we're fucking doing here, but she pushes Jen back in to do this test. For no real reason.
Right, yeah, that blew my mind when she was like,
we don't negotiate with terrorists, Bo.
Yeah, apparently not. Or tests, you know? But so that sends us into another flashback because it's been a couple of minutes. And
it's been a while.
And Jen and her mom are coming home where they find Kit just getting a beach in the hallway from some dude.
He is having his dick sucked in the hallway and he don't give a fuck.
No. And Jen's mom is like, hey, do you mind not getting
right, fine, we'll just stay here. So like Jen's mom's option is to keep her school kid child in a hallway watching one man suck off another man.
That's the crazy part where she's like, fine, I'll just stand here and make a point then. And you're like, no. You need to cover that kid's eyes and usher her into a bedroom away from this side as quickly as possible.
Yeah, you need to sit her down and have an explanation about what those two guys were doing. I think you probably have an idea, but like, let's just confirm that you understand what your eyes have seen, and this will not detrimentally affect you for the next, I don't know, 15 to 20 years unless you get help.
Yeah. And so then our horned up teacher shows back up also.
Practically grinding her door handle, honestly. Like
she's like, what's going on over here? And she's got like, she's side-eyeing the blowjob happening while Jen's mom is like, you're gonna die an early death if you keep this up, to give us a real, you know, as you put it, a red herring.
Hashtag foreshadow, Bo.
Yeah. And then we cut back to present day where a couple of thugs are taking some selfies with an axe and some druid outfits on, because apparently not only are we having a summer solstice party, which I don't think is a thing, but also everyone is dressing up like the killer of a dude who got killed at the.
Well, the thing is, let me tell you about the coolest thing that happens in Scotland, right? And I advise everyone to check this out. About 30 minutes from where I live is the capital city of Scotland, a little place called Edinburgh. You may have heard it before because Americans refer to it as Edinburgh. And it's not Berg, it's Edinburgh, right? B-U-R-G-H, Edinburgh. And on that, there is a hill called Calton Hill, C-A-L-T-O-N, Calton Hill. On Calton Hill, on the first day of the summer solstice, there is an event called Beltane. So Beltane is the official pagan holiday that kicks off summer. And there is a massive fire ceremony, which happens there on the hill, where performance artists dress up like fucking druids and do a full paganistic ceremony, and it lights the entire hill up at midnight in flame. And it's fucking incredible because everyone's naked. It is absolutely incredible. It's fucking amazing. So it does exist. It's not a rave in some Toronto dungeon somewhere. Like it's like I'm just saying they took the wrong message. They took it wrong, Bo. They've twisted it and warped it. But it's, you know, it's absolutely one of the most incredible. So if anyone checks Beltane, B-E-L-T-A-N-E, if you Google it, Beltane Edinburgh, you will see pictures of it. It is absolutely, it's a thing to do if you ever have the chance to come into Edinburgh and you want to plan a visit round. You plan it around two things. One, the Edinburgh Fringe, which is basically a month-long comedy festival and arts festival. And the second thing, Beltane.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it does it.
Rightly pointing out this sounds like a scene out of The Wicker Man.
Dude, they have it's incredible. It's like I've been to it twice, and it's one of those things that if I could do it every year, I would go every fucking year. But I can't. But yeah, so like they're like, and it's a druidic paganistic ceremony. So I get the solstice and the druid connection. What I don't get from this one is why this outfit is just so readily available now. So we've moved into Scream territory because like in Scream, as soon as they find out the kind of ghost face mask and outfit can be bought at any fucking dollar station along the highway or what, I don't know. I'm just using American terms. It don't make sense to me. I everyone start.
You're not.
I can assure you, none of that's right, Duncan.
I don't know what a dollar station is.
Everyone starts dressing up like the Ghostface Killer. Like that's the thing. They're all running about the school and all the rest. That's basically what's happened here. Like everyone apparently has a druid costume. Like everyone.
Yeah, it's apparently it's in all the stores, the dollar stations, as you said, which
dollar stations.
I don't.
Well, it's Canada. I get the feeling that maybe they have dollar stations as opposed to Dollar Tree. Is it a Dollar Tree?
There's
is that what
Dollar Tree.
So they have the dollar station.
Yeah. Up here we've got the dollar station.
You're a bad man. You're a bad man. You know what you're doing as well.
It's right by the Hortons. You just you get a couple of Timmys, hop over for your summer solstice mask, dress up like the druid. We got a couple of rubber axes in there. Get yourself a double and a fake axe.
I think you forgot to say the word sorry, Bo.
Sorry.
There we go.
But yeah, so the actual honest to goodness druid, or at least one of them, passes by.
Oh, he's got a real axe.
Yeah.
He's got an axe.
Boom, 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 boom. But and they're like, hey, does that look like a real axe to you, eh? And the guy's like, yeah, I think it was a real axe, eh? And
well, they're like, do you think it was a real axe? Right? He says like, do you think that's a real axe? And then the druid, as if he has heard this, drops it on the ground so they can hear it's metal, and he starts scraping it across the concrete before lifting it up. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, what does that scene show us out with? There's some people dressed up with like a druid, and the real druid is amongst them.
Right. I think that's what we're establishing. Because well, we'll get to it.
Shit.
Wait, 2 scenes. And so we see Jen dissecting a frog in class for her exam.
Yep.
And she finishes pretty quick, hands it in. The horned up teacher is like, oh my God, that you are so right. This is so sexy. The way that all your answers are right. How about you have a good summer? By the way, do you have a vibrator?
Can I borrow it?
Yeah. Do you want to use it together, maybe?
Because I burned the last 7 of mines out yesterday. Like all just yesterday.
We work in this, or we live in the same apartment building, and I know just by the fact that my garbage is like 80% AA batteries, that I am going through vibrators the way some people go through disposable lighters. So if you've got one, or maybe your mom had one, and I know she's not using it anymore.
Yeah, she's not using it anymore. Is it a 10 speed? Because I only do a 10 speed.
Right.
So,
yeah. Look,
the first 6 are futile to me. They do nothing.
I'm looking for a rabbit at the minimum.
Yeah.
So we get another flashback here where Kit and the horny teacher, who, by the way, her name is Kaylee, but I just think of her as the horny teacher.
She's a horny teacher. And to be honest with you, by the end of this episode, we don't need to know her name. So
very true. And so they're in the laundry room of this apartment building.
This backfires fucking spectacularly.
Right, where she's like, so I noticed you were folding your shirts. I used to work in retail. I know that sounds sexy, but it's even truer. So I'm going to show you how to fold some shirts. I've got this plastic thing that I learned to fold shirts with when I was working at the Gap or whatever. And I was going to
incidentally, I have the same thing. I have one of them in the house. I absolutely 100% love. I own like about 1 million t-shirts, and it is the thing I have. But I'll tell you right now, see, when I'm folding my t-shirt, at no point am I thinking, this gets me horny.
Yeah, everything that comes out of her mouth is foreplay. Doesn't matter what she's saying. It can be like, yeah, I need some more toilet paper because I've got anal leakage. and, and so she's like, yeah, I'm a failed actor too. Isn't that hot?
Yeah.
And so she's like very seductively showing him how to fold using this contraption, which I'm sure it works great, but it also seems like the way she's pitching it is, this is really fast and efficient.
She does it the slowest way possible.
I'm like, this seems like it takes forever. I could fold the t-shirt in like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Then she does it. She takes too much. Like, you fold it like, oh no, you don't. You just slap the t-shirt and you go one fold, done. That's it. It's like literally boom.
And
boom. You know what I mean? Like, it's like building pizza boxes.
And okay, now I'm with you. I can do that really quick. But yeah, so sorry, Alan said in chat, you might think Aaron Martin never finished high school or something. I'm like, yeah, there might be.
I don't think he's never set foot in a high school, I think, is the I think he has a very skewed view of the world and high school.
He's homeschooled. That would explain so much.
Yeah, he's homeschooled by a porn star, clearly. Because that would only explain a porn star with really strange views on gays, because that would explain this script.
And also a series of very racist stepfathers.
Oh, God, must have been. In and out.
Yeah.
Like a revolving door.
Yeah, so this horned up teacher then is like, listen, if you ever want to talk about something or like nibble on my nipples or something, then I live in the same building, so just hit me up sometime.
She's like, I've made like terrible life choices in the past. You might be feeling a little bit, regret or anything. And I think she thinks this is working.
Absolutely. This is, like I said, this is all foreplay to her. This is her saying, like, we are about to get down.
Yeah. And this is our best play in this scenario, which might explain why she's going through so many vibrators.
This is her spitting her best game. And Kit shuts this down.
Hard.
Like, in a way, like, he's a terrible character, but I kind of love this.
Oh, yeah, because the thing is, like, at no point does he say anything overtly disrespectful to her.
Right,
and no more rude than what she's just said to him.
He tells her, I think it's super presumptuous to offer advice to someone you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And from where I'm standing, it seems like you're the person who's lost and in need of help and not me. I really enjoy my life. So I'm going to go do that, and you have a good one.
Yeah, basically, you have a good time with your folding apparatus.
Yeah, with your plastic folding thing, and then just fucks off.
Yeah, it leaves her, and she is furious, Bo.
It's a real well, I mean, I wasn't coming on to you or anything. I mean, that's so crazy that you would think I was coming on.
She's literally, the thing is, she's like, at that point, she's just talking to herself now. And then she's doing the thing that we all do when we've been in a confrontation, and like 3 minutes later, you come away with the best lines. If I just said this.
Right.
That's the scenario she's in. She's frustrated, Bo, because I imagine she now has to wash the trousers and underwear that she was wearing during that conversation.
Well, yeah, because she was at the bare minimum slightly moist at the beginning of the conversation.
Oh, she was as frothy as the seawater at the coast around some stones. You know what I mean? Just like
I do. That's poetry right there.
Yeah.
So anyway, cut back to the present day, where Jen is leaving school after her exam. And she's kind of looking behind her because she feels like somebody's watching her. And
almost as if this is staged.
Perhaps, but
there was nothing there. There was not a sound or anything. And she's looking around as if she's waiting for the signal to the thing that she set up earlier on with her brother.
Well, so if it is her brother,
I think Connor's not been in this nearly enough. That's why he's the killer.
Right. And we know that he's real.
Yes,
so
we do know he's real.
So it can't be a real thing. We know that.
You know what would be the ultimate thing if our Martin pulled that trick twice? They'll never suspect this again.
If Connor was also dead, and
He too
Jen,
burned himself alive, but just never saw it.
I mean, would it surprise me? No.
No.
You know, come now. All right.
Yeah. So we like the only scene we've seen of Connor was the very first episode where he was arguing with Jen over what's her name? Fucking the mother.
Yeah.
Who was
Renee,
like out her tits. Yeah, out her tits and drugs and alcohol and all the rest. So that's the only time we've seen him. So episode 1 is the last time we saw him, and now he exists in the form of text. So, but I think he's a real person, but I also think this is a setup. I think this whole scene is a red herring setup. Almost 100% convinced now.
Okay. All right. I'm reserving judgment, but I'm with you. I think you're on to something, and because again, like you said, Connor just hasn't been in it, and that makes him high on my list of suspects because Aaron Martin cleverly wants you not to think about who the killer is.
Yeah, but I also now really like your idea of them being copycats.
Yeah,
I think that's cool. And yeah, Angel would be my prime suspect on the death of Kit at the moment, just because he fucking spiked him with something,
and also dipped his hands in the blood and rubbed it on his shirt.
Treading water.
Yeah, and that's the biggest problem I think the show has, and has had for several
since season 1.
Yeah,
since season 1. Like, can you remember? Let's put it this way: out with Sarah, can you remember any characters from season? Oh, and Cam, can you remember any characters from season 1?
The reporter, the shitty reporter, that
like shit.
That one
yeah, right. Like, can you remember any characters that don't have the word "shitty" in the description?
Oh no! Everyone on every episode, every season of Slasher is just a collection of the worst people you ever met. It's like
except the mother. The mother was a fucking saint. Sarah's mother, the drunk one, who was also really shitty because she dropped a cinder block on a girl's head.
Yeah. Well, but you know,
they're in a fucking coma.
Nobody's nerfed, you know. So
she's got a cinder block. Sorry,
boom, boom, boom,
it gets difficult. It gets difficult with it.
Yeah.
So longer words, but yeah. So like this to me,
weapons.
This to me feels like a total setup because Jen's looking over her shoulder, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the druid shows up and chases her around the car park.
Yeah.
Or car lot, whatever
dude,
you guys call it.
It's a full-on sprint. Like, they are running like they're both trying out for track and field.
Yes.
And Sadia sees what's going down, and I like her move here of slamming the hood of a car to set off a car alarm to draw.
It's a smart move.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then the druid fucks off.
Oh, there's a comment coming from Bib who says, "Oh no, I've just downloaded the first season to watch. Hopefully it's not too bad." It's not too bad compared to season 3.
Yeah, the glory days of when we were watching season 1 of Slash.
Season 1, I think we ripped it to shreds, but now in hindsight, we were maybe a bit too mean. Had we known there was 2 levels below this, like the 9 circles of hell, I think we probably would have been a slight bit kinder. But Bib, if there's something else you can watch that's been on the waiting list for a while, I would say prioritize that.
Yeah. But if you want to hear somebody completely lose control of an accent.
Oh, Sarah.
Yeah. Hi.
Sarah is like she's like a fine wine, Bo. Her accents are only getting worse with age. But anyway, so like Jen smacking cars, alarms are going off, teachers are getting involved, and guess what? The druid doesn't get her.
Yep, that's right.
Suspicious.
Very suspicious. So after all this, our horny teacher drags one of the kids that we saw earlier who was dressed up like the druid over.
He's literally, this is a kid that was doing the Bunsen burner thing. He's literally just got out of whatever bollocking he got off his headmaster, and then he found time to then dress in the druid costume and then go outside. This kid's a dickhead. Like a stone cold dickhead.
Yeah. And he's like, she tells him to apologize to Jen. He's like, yeah, I'm sorry that you thought I was the druid and that I was chasing you, which I
Yeah.
totally wasn't. And both
Which
of
is
you
maybe the
suck.
most authentic dialogue written for a teenager in this show.
Yeah, I've
Because that's what that kid would say. Like, it wouldn't be an apology, it'd be a passive aggressive apology, and he nails it.
dude, I have been playing that Back for Blood game
Mm-hmm.
with my buddy Chad that I do Pick Six Movies with, and his son who's just becoming a teenager,
Yep.
and it is hilarious to hear that kid talk. That kid thinks that that Chad and I are the stupidest people on the planet, and I love it.
Yep.
Like he is so much a teenager, and I adore every second of it. And because I called his father Chad
Yeah.
while we're playing games, he has taken to calling his father Chad.
Uh,
Oh, it's good because I every now and again in the background I'll hear his mom say, "Why are you calling your father Chad?" It's chef's kiss, Duncan. I love it so much. It
well,
is.
I just wanted to, like, Bib has responded by saying that's disappointing. Seems like the Scream TV show. I was excited for that one, but it was disappointing. I can watch Ju-on Origins again.
Yeah,
I never did that. Was that worth
Ju-on
a
Origins
watch?
is interesting. Yeah, I don't know that it's great, but
Yeah.
it's something. You know.
I will maybe watch that over Christmas.
But yeah. So the teacher ends up trying to be kind of sympathetic towards Jen here. She's like, "I'm really sorry about, you shouldn't have to deal with all this." And Jen is like, "My mom brought it on herself."
Yeah.
And
I'm like, she brought it up on herself. I mean, if only we could have a flashback to explain that phrase.
your wish is granted.
Yay!
Because now we go to a flashback where Jen's mom is watching the police after Kit's body has been discovered in the street.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes a picture of this prone body,
Yep.
bloody body, and like posts it on social media. One presumes like a Facebook kind of thing, and says, "Well, maybe this wouldn't have happened if he wasn't a druggy slut. Hashtag
Yep.
reap what you sow."
And I was like, the Reaper, Bo, the Reaper.
On the nosy. And then she goes inside.
Yeah.
And the next morning,
she goes to bed,
yeah,
thinking that the world is safe, right?
Yeah.
And she wakes up and the world is different.
Dude, yes, everything has exploded. Jen is getting all these messages on her phone that is just message after message being like, "Hey, your mom's fucked up."
Yeah.
And then she sees the post that her mother made, and she's like, "Oh my god,
my mom's fucked up."
Yeah, and then her brother comes in, Connor comes in, is like, "Did you see what mom did?" And she's like, "Yeah, I just woke up and saw this. What the hell?" And they go out into their living room or whatever, and Renee and the mom are just going through comments, and there's a local news story about it, about like, hey.
The news story isn't the lead news story here isn't the dead body, the murder suspect. It's the comment posted on social media about the dead body.
Yeah, and so their mother just starts weeping while we see that hashtag reap what you sow is now trending, and she has now become internet famous for being like the world's first terrible Karen.
Yeah.
And then we cut to a character that we just also could be a killer because of how rarely we see her. But it's this girl Amy that's a friend of Noah's, who is
it's in the VR headset,
really into killing VR zombies.
And Kit with her car.
Yeah,
although it was ruled okay.
She was manslaughter. Or kid slaughter, whatever.
Kit slaughter. Kit, the name of the car, Knight Rider. There we go. It's full circle.
Oh, no. You like that a lot.
Wow. Amazing.
Anyway, I kind of want to watch that.
Down the low.
Do you remember the two-parter of Knight Rider where there was the evil Knight Rider truck named Goliath that they had to
Yes!
That was awesome. I kind of want to
I love
that.
I love that our show's just descended to that big. Remember that time that thing happened? That was awesome, dude. Yeah, that was awesome. We are doing we're going to become member berries ourselves. This is how you get more listeners in, where we're just like literally talk about things that were awesome.
Yeah, you're right. We should stop actually being critical of the slasher show and just
start doing that.
Well, after we do Pink Panther, it'll just become a Knight Rider.
Knight Rider cast. Yeah,
we'll do one episode of Knight Rider and one of Airwolf.
I don't know if we're being serious or not, but yeah, I would do that. We'd be doing it forever though.
Yeah, well, I mean, what the hell else we got to do? Anyway, while Amy is doing her VR zombie killing, this detective sneaks up on her again.
Just walks into her house.
Well, she says, like, hey, your door was open, by the way, and I knocked, and you didn't answer because you're too busy karate chopping zombies.
Yeah.
She is like, take it, you son of a bitch. Come here. I got you. I'm going to kill you, you motherfucker.
Suck my non-existent dick.
And I enjoy VR as much as the next guy.
Yeah.
Maybe more so, but it's just a lot of grunting. I don't actually talk to these.
You're missing a trick, boy. I'm starting to think that you don't take it seriously enough.
Well, all right. Anyway, so this detective is like, sorry, I scared you, but I need to ask you if you've seen Noah. And she's like, nah, I've been home all day. He texted me, and the last text I got from him was, dairy-free cheese is an abomination.
That's his final words.
I mean, it's not the worst.
It's a fitting tribute to a character who's about as fucking two-dimensional as the glass pane that the characters from Superman are trapped in.
He died as he lived, bitching about stuff that's not important. But Noah, the detective tells Amy, like, hey, we went to Noah's coffee shop and we found a whole like coffee carafe full of blood, which seemed unusual. So,
it's not the sort of thing we would expect in this upmarket,
right. So
barista establishment.
If you happen to hear from him, let us know. And then they hand over a card, and Amy's like, gotcha, I'll let you know if I hear anything.
Headset goes right back on, and she goes back to poning some nibs.
She's doing 360 no scope headshots. So Jen and Sadia, meanwhile, are walking home, and they're kind of wondering, like, who would be fucked up enough to dress like the druid and chase Jen around. And
Jen makes a comment that she doesn't think it was the kid that was sent to detention, because her memory, her recollection of that guy was taller than the druid. I don't know, like maybe someone the size of Connor, and was going a lot faster than what that kid could run, presumably at a speed that Jen would be familiar with, like her brother Connor.
Yeah, and so Sadia is like, we should call the police. And to further your theory, Jen's like, no, we're not going to call the police.
It's hashtag cahoots. Like, I'm telling you right now.
Hashtag cahoots.
Hashtag cahoots. I'm telling you, it's the two of them. Like, the more we're talking about now, the more, like, I've forgotten that she dissuaded her from phoning the cops. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's all but like that case closed. Book 'em, Dano.
Robert Stack's about to come out in a trench coat and mystery solved. So Jen does ask her, though, is she a Sadia? She's like, hey, I want you to hang with me tonight, so at least we're together, and I can kill you.
Yeah, just stay with me tonight. I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen is my crazy mum will start shouting at you and terrifying you and insinuating that you too should be set on fire. I mean, that's the worst thing that could happen. The best thing that could happen is pillow fight.
Well, yes, sexy pillow fight with their biology teacher or whatever.
Why is she in here? Well, she's invited to every pillow fight.
Yeah.
But like, she's not even invited, she just shows up.
It's like Beetlejuice. As soon as we start having a pillow fight, she just appears.
It's showtime.
In sexy underwear. But yeah, speaking of the sexy teacher, she goes to her car in a now empty parking lot where her car is like a mile and a half away from the school.
Because slasher.
Yeah.
By the way, she's walking up towards her car, taking selfies on her phone, because remember, it's mobile phones technology and the internet. Yeah. And she's taking, she's like, what this massive dick to man will really appreciate? Photos of me surrounded by dilapidated buildings. Nothing makes me look hotter.
Nothing is sexier than a backdrop of crabgrass pushing through asphalt.
Yeah, like, used hypodermic needles will get him hard.
It's when Duncan, when she gets in her car, she looks in the rear view and there is the druid. Yeah. Just hanging out, and she doesn't like
it's 2 seconds away from her looking at she's like that, and the druid going, hello. Yeah. Just like, hi there. I was kind of hoping that you wouldn't have noticed that I was sitting back here as early in the car journey. I was hoping that the ignition would at least be started and maybe we would have started traveling, but it's okay. I am diverse, and you pretended with Bunsen burner flames that you were the dead mother of one of the kids in school. Then I thought that maybe you were the druid running around like chasing after this kid with a fake axe, and I made you apologize from, and also took your costume off you, so you don't have your costume anymore. You've now acquired a new costume and are sitting in the back of my car after breaking into my car. This is the point where I'm like that, like, you hate this kid, clearly. You phone the fucking police. This is breaking and entering, Bo.
And instead, she's just like, listen, I'm slightly put out by all this. Will you please get out of my car also?
What the fuck, Bo?
It is the most unnatural reaction to seeing a human being in the back of your car unexpectedly.
But I had it in my head because your predominant theory was that she was the druid. So when he was in the back of the car, I was like, right, this is our partner.
Yeah, that, okay.
For a second. For a second, I was like that. All right, Bo was right. And I was right. Yay. I was like, we're so smart. And then he chloroforms, and I was like that. Why would he do that? Like, why would they chloroform the killer?
Yeah. And so we cut away from that for now because we got to draw out this whole sequence. And we go back to Jen and Sadia, who are showing up at Jen's place. And as soon as Renee sees Sadia, she is like, get her out of my house.
Yeah.
And she keeps saying, a door is not a wall until it's locked. And Sadia should burn. And you're like, what again? And she's like, that's right. A door is not a wall and it's until it's locked. Also, when is a door not a door? When it's a jar.
Yeah.
This is the water and this is the well. Yeah. Drink me.
It's the most nonsense. Like, she's like, a door is not a wall until it's locked. No, it's a locked door.
Yeah.
So like, I'm sorry, Rainey. I don't want to be the one to burst your bubble here, but it's still a door. His matter doesn't physically change, even if it's got a lock.
What has 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the day, and 3 legs in the evening? That is my riddle to you, Sadia.
I don't know.
It's a man. It's man, Duncan. It's the oldest riddle in the world. It's the riddle of the Sphinx.
Yes, the old Sphinx riddle.
Yeah. I gave her the old Sphinx riddle, Duncan. Now she's pregnant.
We've all been there. Yeah. He never did. Right. So yeah, I puts the fear of God into Sadia, and Sadia's like, maybe I should go. And I was like, yes, let's not stay with the crazy woman that tried to immolate herself a couple of days ago with water. In fact, it's on the same day. It happened earlier on in the day.
Perhaps we need another flashback, Duncan.
I mean, it would clear things up for me, Bo.
So we go back to a year ago where it's them arguing about the post again. It's like, Jen's mom and et cetera. And we see Sheriff Dan lingering in the shadows, all racist like.
Yeah, it's like he's got the racist light on, so he's all like kind of covered in a kind of neon hue, so to speak. he's got the leer of John Voight from fucking Anaconda, where he's just like,
So you've been posting much on the internet?
you know, it's all weird and it's all wrong. And they noticed that the door has had some obscenity spray painted on it that we'll not see until the camera zooms back out. And she says something along the lines of, you know, this is our apartment, you know, we live here. To which our racist guy says, my people were here long before yours. And I'm like, unless I'm mistaken, and I might be genuinely, because I like Rennie's difficult to place. She's also clearly been pigeonholed in this fucking series as well. Like, I'm assuming that like Rennie's white.
Yes.
And he's white.
Yes.
So, I like, is he lesbians? Is that what he means?
Yeah,
we've been here longer than lesbians.
Yes, lesbians didn't come over on the Mayflower.
Yeah, which that's bullshit. But
he also calls them fellas. Hi there, fellas.
Yes.
Which is really.
I forgot what we're doing Brimley for him.
Yeah,
because he's not been in it much. He's really not been in it much. So.
And then he does the, hey, how about I stick my tongue out real fast like that? Goddamn it! Yeah. And then, while this is going on, Sadia and her family are rolling by too. And this is where, like, Jen's mom gives them a real stink eye.
Yeah.
Because they didn't do anything other than
other than see a fucking horrific message. Like, I think they're more kind of perturbed by the message on the door than they are by the actions of the characters.
Yeah, in the door, we get the pullback on the door, and it says "Rape the Reapers." Is what
rape the Reapers. And can I just stress that impression earlier on? Like, if you want to give your woman some serious loving, you deploy some Brimley tongue.
Yeah,
right there.
How about you get on the bed, goddammit? You spread your legs, and I'm gonna eat at the white. I'm packing a look. I did not spend a large portion of my life as a bouncer, goddammit, not to be able to wrestle with a vagina.
Yeah, you know he'd be good at it as well, because a part of being a bouncer is having a toothpick in and doing that kind of stuff with your tongue, moving it around. His tongue muscles must have been incredible, Bo.
I also think he would just be an attentive and caring lover.
I would like to say, like, I think that he just wants to come inside, Bo. And I think if he wants to come inside, he needs to spend a bit of time doing a bit of foreplay first. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what, I'm going to go down on you, and then I'm going to come inside.
Yeah.
I'm all right.
Yep. He also needs to make sure that they're, you know, that they're ready to accept his throbbing Brimley member.
That's what he says after he pops a couple of Cialis. I'm all right.
Yeah.
I want to come inside.
Like, because he understands that, it's not a wall if they're locked legs. You have to be unlocked to make them not a wall, to make them a door.
Right.
So we'll get this flashback, which adds nothing to the scene, out with Rennie's fucking nuts, and blames everyone.
Well, and so
except where that blame should be, which is on herself for really telling her partner that she's about to throw her out, and make her homeless, which is the catalyst for her burning herself.
It's like they say, whenever you point a finger at somebody else, you have three fingers pointing back at you, and one.
The shocker, bro. That's right. I know all about that. That's the three fingers pointing back. Shocker.
No, there's the shocker.
Yeah, it's the shocker. It's three fingers pointing back, bro.
Well, that's one finger pointing back, and three fingers pointing at the pee hole and the poop hole.
So glad you clarified that.
That's science, Duncan. I didn't go to hoo-hoo school for nothing.
You blinded me with science.
Science! So
there we go.
We have been working together for far too long. So after this flashback, we get Jen and Sadia chase each other down the hall. Where Jen is like, hey, I'm really sorry that my mom's crazy. And Sadia's like, no, this is on me. I should have stepped up when people were being terrible to your mothers, and I didn't, and I'm sorry about that.
I was only a 15-year-old girl, but I should have taken the responsibility of clearing your mother's name for something that she openly did.
Also, I'm clearly being harassed by the same guy in the building.
Yes.
So sorry I didn't stand up and plant a flag for your mom when your mom clearly isn't helping me none. So
Yeah, like, and also once again to I don't know, defend your mum from the clearly horrendous act that she did. She posted that online. Her excuse is she didn't think she had enough followers, Bo, for it to mean anything.
Right. Yeah. Well, I didn't know the gun was loaded. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real cheap.
Yeah.
So, too soon, probably.
Yeah.
So,
God. We're just gonna gloss over that.
But Jen is like, you know what? We're cool. We will we'll meet later so that we're not alone tonight. Don't worry about it. Like you and I are good.
Yeah, we'll meet later on. Maybe the last episode of this show where I'm revealed as one of the killers.
Oh, I so hope you're right. I'm now in it. Like, but you're right. Like one of these, like either Connor or Jen will be out by the end of the next episode, and I will be sitting here going, I don't want to have to use the phrase, Aaron Martin, you fooled me again. Yeah, but see, I'm just bought in. Like, I'm so bandwagon on this where I'm like, Duncan, you're 100% right, and this is totally what I'm in on. Until I have an idea that I think is slightly better, and then I'm going to be like, fuck you, Duncan, you're the dumbest person I've ever met, and here's why.
Like, because it totally makes sense now, though, that we're concentrating on the Kit murder.
Yeah.
Where I think that's not what we should be concentrating on. I think we should be concentrating on this.
Yeah, on the mother murder.
Yes.
Well, not even mother. It's suicide.
Not mother suicide, yeah.
After she did it.
And the fact that no one in the building helped out, and it's everyone in the building that's being killed.
Yeah. And Alan, don't think I didn't see your comment in chat. We'll get to that. So we flash back again to sex teacher crying on the phone after some guy stands her up on a date.
Yeah.
And calls a friend of hers. And this is the night of Kit's murder, and she's in her car. She drives by Kit, who is all, dosed up on a Mickey.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh my God. Or he's like, I really fucked up. Could you give me a ride home? And she's like, I don't think so.
She's like, I'm going to use my infinite powers of recall here to basically recall a conversation that we had earlier in which you said you didn't need my help. I'm going to be smug while doing it.
Yeah, so she's like, I think you could probably use the air. Besides, you don't need my help. Remember, Barry? and he's like,
maybe you didn't need my help, maybe.
And he's like, I need some help. And she just drives past him, and, this is why she's guilty of being a person or whatever. And so she wakes up in the present day in the classroom where the druid is just kind of creeping around her, and she's all bound and gagged, spread out upon this table. Mm-hmm. And he's got a scalpel and just starts cutting. Cuts right into her belly, and then gets some bolt cutters and starts taking care of the ribs.
Yep.
And so he rips her open, and she dies. Like, we see the light go out of her eyes. Murder teacher is done.
Murder teacher turns out to be not murder teacher.
Yeah. Which is when that happened, I was like, up until she died, I was like, oh, it could still be her.
Yeah.
She's staging all this.
Yeah.
But no,
it's just a flesh wound. She can walk that off.
There's happy. I feel happy.
There's a question in our chat here about the Legion podcast Patreon, Bo, that I believe you can answer.
Yeah, okay. So you and we specifically do not have a Patreon for this show. This is all under the Legion podcast banner.
Yep.
So like when you are subscribing to this show and watching this YouTube channel and so forth, if you're dropping a couple of bucks in the Legion podcast Patreon, that is 100% where you ought to be putting it. And if you need a link to that, it's just patreon.com/Legion Podcasts, all one word. And so you can get exclusive stuff there and early access to stuff there. And so thank you so much if you are enjoying the stuff that you're hearing and you're dropping us a buck or two a month. And we don't ask for much. We're a humble people, Duncan. A
Yes.
humble, swarthy people.
Let me drink from my golden chalice.
Yes. As I sit on my throne of platinum. Yeah, but thanks for supporting everything. And also, if I can pitch one show that's on the Patreon, it's the Ouija experiment, which is a monthly show where me and a rotating series of guests talk about movies with the word Ouija in the title. And you might be surprised to learn those movies aren't very good.
What?
Who knew, Duncan?
I know. I didn't know.
Yes, but thank you. And also, Alan points out. We'll come back to that. We'll talk about that on the back end. I want to.
We will circle back.
We'll circle the wagons back. And anyway, so sexy teacher is dead now, which is a real bummer for my pet theory. And then Viv also says, humble people, I've heard the round tables. Look, just because I'm right doesn't mean I'm not humble.
That's what I love.
Although that is true too.
Oh yeah, high level.
But what I bring to the round tables isn't just a high level of expertise, as you pointed out, but it is an air of humility. I'm more of a mouthpiece for the common man.
Yep.
And woman. Let's not be, I'm not going to be a genderist about this. That basically, I'm the voice of the audience in a lot of ways on the round table.
I've had plenty of emails that said, "Finally, we have a voice."
I'm the vox populi of the round table series. So, anyway, hey, speaking of Sheriff Dan, let's get back to him. There's a knock on his door. He is naturally...
Because once again, we forgot he was a character in this realistically because we've not seen him since episode 1.
We can also rule him out as a suspect because he's never sober.
Never sober, and he's never left this apartment.
Right. And so he wakes up or comes to, however you want to look at it, and it's Sadia looking for Cassidy. He's like, "Well, God, what do you? Hey, I am nursing a hangover and working on another one. God damn it! Why are you disturbing my slumber?" And she's like, "Hey, Cassidy stole my phone. Will you check in Cassidy's room?" And he's like, "I most certainly will not."
That's literally. I don't blame him because we saw what happened earlier on in that day in that room, and she was getting fucked 6 ways to Sunday. So.
Yeah, I'm not going in there. First of all, it smells like semen, and it ain't mine. So I do not go. That is basically a man marking his territory. You go in my bedroom, the kitchen, the living room, or the whole closet, you will smell my scent.
I think that's what they call pulling a Weinstein. I'm not sure. Fairly sure that's what they call it. Don't get near a plant pot. But yeah, like he's like, I totally won't do that, and he closes the door. So this mobile phone thing as a concept has been stretched out far too far in this episode. Like already, we're 3 episodes in. I'm over this mobile phone thing. Just let's get it back to her, or let's get it out of the story.
I'm excited at the midpoint of the season when we discover that Cassidy is dead.
Maybe might be the last episode, Bo.
Maybe. So anyway, we cut back to this asshole kid that was dressed up like the druid earlier, talking to his buddy about going to a party. For the summer solstice party, and they're going in the biology classroom to get something. I can't remember what they're getting. Maybe it's his rubber axe or something.
Well, like it was confiscated by the teacher, so they're going back in to speak to the teacher, and they just walk in, and just go straight to the desk and lift their gear.
Right, and there is sexy teacher with her organs arranged around here, a la the frogs that were being dissected earlier in the day, which again lends further credence to the fact that it was
It's
Jen
a
who did it.
student. It's a student.
Well, Jen specifically, because she had to take this stupid test,
and she did
lend
it
her
really,
organs,
really, really well, Bo.
and did it fast.
Yep. Yep.
Jen
And
is
it's all
the
coming
killer,
together.
or at least a killer.
If she's a killer, Connor's a killer.
Well, if Connor's the killer, then clearly I'm a no.
I think what you're failing to realize, Duncan, is I killed Kit.
we the audience are the killer. Yeah. So that's this fucking show. All right, and that's the end of the episode 3.
The two boys scream like girls, and then it stops.
Yeah, and so I would say what are our predictions, but I think we've already said what our predictions are.
Yeah, so I think our predictions is I'm sticking with my two killers idea, doubling down with Connor and Jen, and I am now subscribing to your theory that this is a copycat killing, because that fills in this doesn't make sense for why they would kill Kit, unless there's an altercation that we've not seen in a flashback where they do something nasty to Jen's mum and they get they take it upon themselves to do something revengey. I don't know, but at this stage you have to kind of shorten the suspect list down now to people in that building and who holds a grudge over Kit. It's definitely not the teacher, but it could very well be Angel.
Yeah, I'm kind of into this this particular theory that we have two sets of killers essentially.
Yeah, I like it.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'm down for this.
Now we just need to wait a couple of weeks until we're completely proved wrong.
Yeah. So that point, best Kirstie Alley in Village of the Damned cosplay, says Ellen. That's very good, sir. Tip of the hat for that. Also, let me do this other comment that Alan made. Calling it now Aaron Martin to showrun a Terrifier series.
It's almost inevitable now.
That is the most appropriate combination of concepts I've heard in some time.
I'm trying to think what I despise more. I think I despise Terrifier more than I do Slasher.
Yeah, because the thing is, Aaron Martin thinks he's saying something that's socially responsible.
Yeah, he doesn't have the tact, the wit, or the clout to do any of that. Whereas Terrifier doesn't have any of that.
So yeah, but I think that would be if that were to come out as a thing that was going to happen, then I would be like, yeah, that totally makes sense. That is similar ethos, to be sure. Duncan.
Yes, that's my name.
We'll be back in 2 weeks to talk about more of this, whether people will like it or not. And in the meantime, where can people find you if they want to hear more out of you?
Yeah, if they want to check out more of my stuff, currently I am working through 31 of October, so basically doing mini reviews of those movies in 7 movie chunks. So yeah, there's some stuff over there, some that I have genuinely loved, others that I have deeply hated. They can check that out, as well as this Halloween, where I drop what will be about an 11-hour episode, which is a Russian Roulette franchise retro on the entire Halloween franchise, with I think there's 10 guest hosts on that one, as one massive episode to get you through November. You've been listening to it for a month. So yeah, you can check that out on Podcast Under the Stairs. It's tputscast.com, which is the website, or Podcast Under the Stairs wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, very nice. And for me, if you would like to hear more of my nonsense, over on legionpodcast.com is everything that I do, as well as plenty of other shows, plenty of other great creators and so forth over there. So subscribe to the Legion Podcast feed wherever it is that you get your podcast, and you'll get everything I do plus a bunch more stuff. If you just want to hear my stuff, and God bless you, and you should probably seek help. You can find me and my buddy Chad on Pick Six Movies. You can find me and my buddy Duncan right here on Duncan and Bo Come Correct. And then literally everything else I do is under the Dark Parade, which is sort of, it's a new show, but it's also a lot of stuff that I've done for a while, as well as some new stuff. But
an amalgam.
Yes, what is the simulacrum? Simulacrum. Anyway,
this is what it looks like to see someone have a stroke on here. I didn't realize that's some
pennies.
I think you missed an opportunity to call it Bo's Bizarre.
Well, because you don't want a review to be Bo's Bizarre and stupid.
So, you could go down the old Bob Bordello route and have it as Bo's Bizarre.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it could have been fun.
So Dark Parade, or the Dark Parade, is how you'll find it on the catcher of your choice. It's Morbid Mondays, which is kind of a news and chat show sort of thing, and then every Wednesday is an actual movie, and where talk about movie series and so forth. And then in between that stuff, there's bonus stuff like the What You Watching with Jamie and Bo is there. A monthly thing that I do with Kate Pollock called The Heart of Horror, which there's only one of those so far, and I can't recommend that enough. It's very funny. Not because of me. Kate is just a natural, and holy God, the stories that she has about her dating life are just my favorite things ever. And yeah, so all of that stuff is over there. Also, Found Footage Fool, me doing found footage movies, all of that stuff. And there's going to be more stuff. I'm going to be doing more dumb stuff as well. So anyway, that's where you can find all my stuff. Be sure that you are, of course, following Teapots Cast on Twitter and following on Facebook, and also Dark Parade Pod on Twitter and the Facebook as well. The only thing left to do then is to say to Duncan, say goodnight, Duncan.
See, you left a space there because you knew there would be a chance I forget what you say. But good night, Duncan.
Ah, darn you.
Yes.
We'll see
yes. Burn it down.